You are lying in bed. The door is closed. The lights are off. The silence in the room feels almost physically heavy. You feel relieved to be alone, but your brain, sharp after 300,000 years of evolution, is panicking right now. For 99% of human history, this exact moment, being alone behind a closed door, simply didn't exist. Solitude wasn't a choice. It wasn't me time. It was a death sentence. If you were alone, you were prey. Today, we've built a world where loneliness is the ultimate luxury, and it is the greatest trap we've ever walked into. Before we invented walls, we lived in a 30-foot circle of light. Inside this circle, there were no secrets, no personal space. There wasn't even a word for privacy. Anthropologist Colin Turnbull, while studying the Mbuti people, discovered something strange. They had no concept of needing to be alone. The idea that a person needed space was a sign of illness or exile to them. If a couple wanted intimacy, they just walked 50 feet into the darkness. They remained visible, but the tribe followed the law of mutual pretending. Everyone acted like they didn't notice them. We learned to build psychological walls long before we learned how to lay bricks. Everything changed 10,000 years ago. Wheat became our new god. And a god needs temples, permanent homes. Yuval Noah Harari calls this the greatest fraud in history. We thought we domesticated the land, but in reality, walls domesticated us. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, a human could close a door, and at that exact moment, we accidentally invented loneliness. Walls gave us safety but took away movement. They gave us property but destroyed community. We started comparing our pyramids to our neighbors. Even the greatest leaders, like Napoleon, suffered from this rift. He conquered Europe but couldn't stand open doors. A primitive safety instinct demanded absolute control over his space. He would pinch his soldiers' ears until they bruised, just to feel the physical contact he lacked so desperately in his golden cage. We became like the orangutans in the Bukittinggi Zoo. They have food and shelter, but in their eyes is zoochosis, madness. Madness caused by an environment that completely contradicts their biology. Today, we live in zoos of our own design. We work 90,000 hours in a lifetime just to pay off the mortgage for a concrete box that isolates us from the very people who make us human. Have you ever felt sonder? That sudden realization that every random passerby has a life as complex and vivid as your own? In a tribe, this wasn't a realization, it was a fact. You knew every single scar on your neighbor's back. Now, we live among thousands of people, yet we don't even know the names of those sleeping right behind our wall. We traded a 15-hour work week of laziness and socializing for a career and privacy. But our brain is still waiting for 30 warm bodies to be in the room. It doesn't understand why it's so quiet. And in this silence, a deep anxiety is born, one that no amount of comfort can drown out. Our ancestors woke up every morning without plans or deadlines. They owned nothing, but they were free. They had no walls, but they were never alone. You are not a modern person with weird feelings. You are an ancient hunter, locked in a room with a closed door. The walls aren't protecting you from predators. They're just keeping you from going back home.